Breaking the chains of self-sabotage. Hi, I'm Little Wise Guy. Have you ever felt like you were almost there? Like something good was beginning to happen? You had the idea. You made the plan. You took a few steps, and then, somehow, you stopped. Maybe you got distracted. Maybe you procrastinated. Maybe you suddenly felt tired. Maybe you told yourself it wasn't the right time. Or maybe you found a very reasonable sounding excuse and backed away from the thing you wanted. If that has happened to you, you are not broken. You might just be meeting self-sabotage. Self-sabotage is sneaky. It does not always look dramatic. It does not always come crashing in like a villain. Sometimes it comes dressed as caution. Sometimes it sounds like logic. Sometimes it whispers, maybe not today. Maybe you're not ready. Maybe someone else could do this better. Maybe it won't work anyway. And before you know it, you are standing still. Not because you do not care, not because you do not have ability, but because some hidden part of you is afraid to move forward. That is important, because self-sabotage is not usually about laziness. It is often about protection. A part of you is trying to keep you safe, maybe not wisely, maybe not helpfully, but still trying. Self-sabotage is what happens when we create obstacles in our own path. Sometimes we know we are doing it. Sometimes we do not. It can look like missing deadlines, avoiding important conversations, starting things but not finishing them, waiting until everything is perfect, saying yes to too many people, so there is no time left for your own life, or talking to yourself in a way you would never talk to someone you love. It can also be very quiet, a little doubt here, a little delay there, a little shrinking, a little hiding, a little, who do I think I am? And the dream gets smaller. Not all at once, just slowly enough that you almost do not notice. So today, let's notice. Not to judge ourselves, not to scold ourselves, just to see. Because awareness is how the chain begins to loosen. One common form of self-sabotage is procrastination. That one is familiar to many of us. You know the thing matters. You may even want to do it. But somehow the laundry becomes urgent. The dishes become fascinating. Your phone becomes a tiny glowing trap. And the thing you wanted to do waits patiently in the corner. Sometimes procrastination is not really about time. Sometimes it is about fear. Fear of failing. Fear of succeeding. Fear of being seen. Fear of finding out that the thing you wanted is harder than you hoped. So instead of facing that feeling, we delay. Another form is perfectionism. Perfectionism can sound noble. It says, I just want it to be good. But underneath that, sometimes it means, if I cannot make it perfect, I will not risk making it at all. And that is a clever trap, because perfect is a finish line that keeps moving. You can chase it forever. You can polish forever. You can prepare forever. But nothing becomes real until it is allowed to be imperfect in the world. That is hard, but it is also freeing. You do not have to be perfect to begin. You only have to be willing. Then there is negative self-talk, that voice that says, I'm not smart enough. I don't have enough experience. I always mess things up. Other people are better at this. That voice can become so familiar that we mistake it for truth. But familiarity is not the same as truth. Sometimes it is just an old recording, something we learned, something someone taught us, something pain repeated until it sounded like a fact. But you are allowed to question that voice. You are allowed to ask, is this true? Is this kind? Is this helping me grow? And if the answer is no, you do not have to obey it. Another kind of self-sabotage is overcommitment. This one can be tricky because it looks responsible, helpful, generous. You say yes to everyone. You help. You show up. You handle things. But your own dreams keep waiting. Your own body gets tired. Your own spirit gets quiet, and you tell yourself, I'm just too busy. But sometimes being too busy becomes a hiding place. Sometimes we fill our lives with everyone else's needs, so we never have to face our own longing. That does not mean helping is wrong. Helping can be beautiful. But if your yes to everyone else becomes a no to yourself, it may be time to listen more closely. Self-sabotage can also show up through the ways we cope. When stress feels too big, we reach for comfort. Food, alcohol, scrolling, shopping, drama, distraction, anything that gives us a little relief. And again, there is no need to shame ourselves. Everyone reaches for comfort, but we can ask, is this comforting me? Or is it carrying me farther away from myself? That question is gentle, but it is powerful, because self-sabotage often begins in emotion. Under the behavior, there is usually a feeling. Fear of failure is one root. It says, if I do not try, I cannot fail. But not trying has a cost too. It keeps the dream safe, but it also keeps it unborn. Fear of success is another root. That one sounds strange at first. Why would we be afraid of success? But success can bring change, more attention, more responsibility, new expectations, people seeing us differently. And some part of us may wonder, what if I cannot maintain it? What if they expect more from me? What if I become someone I do not recognize? So we pull back, not because we do not want the light, but because the light feels unfamiliar. Low self-worth can be another root. If some part of you believes you do not deserve good things, you may unconsciously block them. You may choose smaller. You may settle. You may abandon opportunities right when they begin to open. Not because you want pain, but because pain feels known. And the known can feel safer than the good, even when the good is what you have been praying for. Then there is the comfort zone. Our minds like familiar things, even familiar suffering. Change asks us to step into the unknown, and the unknown can make the nervous system say, no thank you. So we go back to old habits, old stories, old roles, old limits. But growth almost always asks us to cross a threshold, not all at once, not violently, just one honest step at a time. So, how do we begin breaking the chain? First, we notice. Noticing is not small. Noticing is sacred work. Set aside a little time. Write honestly. Ask yourself, when do I tend to hold myself back? What was I feeling in that moment? What was I afraid might happen? What did I believe about myself? Have I felt this before? You are not interrogating yourself. You are listening. There is a difference. A self-sabotage journal can help. You do not have to make it complicated. Just write down moments when you notice yourself avoiding, delaying, shrinking, or spiraling. Over time, patterns appear. And when a pattern becomes visible, it becomes workable. The hidden thing loses some of its power. Second, challenge the belief underneath the behavior. If the thought says, I am not qualified, ask, what evidence do I have? What have I already learned? What skills do I already carry? What would I say to a friend who thought this about themselves? If the thought says, I always fail, ask, always? Really? Every time? Or is that pain speaking in absolutes? Our fear likes words like always and never, but truth is usually more specific, more grounded, more compassionate. Third, get support when you need it. Some hidden blocks are old. Some are tangled with trauma, shame, family patterns, or painful relationships. You do not have to untie every knot alone. A therapist, counselor, mentor, trusted friend, or supportive community can help you see what you cannot see from inside the pattern. There is no weakness in needing support. Even the strongest trees are held by the forest around them. Fourth, practice mindfulness. Mindfulness helps you catch the moment before the old pattern takes over. You might notice, my chest is tight. I want to avoid this. I am reaching for my phone again. I am telling myself I cannot do it. That moment of noticing creates space, and in that space, choice can enter. Maybe you still avoid the thing, maybe not. But the next time, you might pause a little longer. And the next time after that, you might choose differently. This is how change often happens, not as lightning, as practice. Fifth, make the goals smaller. Big goals can scare the hidden parts of us. So make the next step gentle enough to take. Not, change my whole life today. Just send the email, open the document, write one paragraph, take a walk, make the appointment, clean one corner, ask one question, begin. Small steps are not lesser steps. They are how trust is built. Your nervous system learns, oh, we can move and still be safe. That matters. Visualization can help too. Take a few moments and imagine yourself moving through the challenge. Not perfectly, just steadily. Imagine yourself beginning. Imagine yourself feeling nervous and continuing anyway. Imagine yourself meeting the obstacle, breathing, and choosing the next right step. Let your body feel what it is like to not abandon yourself. Then set an intention. Something simple. Today, I choose progress over perfection. Today, I take one honest step. Today, I notice fear without letting it drive. Today, I return to myself. Intentions give the day a direction. They remind you how you want to be while you are doing what you need to do. Affirmations can help as well, if they are honest enough for your heart to accept. You might say, I am worthy of growth. I can learn as I go. I do not have to be perfect to begin. I can meet challenges one step at a time. I am allowed to want a fuller life. Say them slowly. Let them be seeds, not magic spells that force life to change instantly, but seeds. And seeds know how to work in the dark. You can also build a support network. Tell someone you trust what you are trying to change. Not everyone, not the whole village, just someone safe. Someone who can remind you of your own courage when fear gets loud. Sometimes an outside voice can say, I see what you're doing. You're pulling back. You do not have to disappear here. And that can be enough to help you stay. Another important practice is changing your relationship with failure. Failure is not proof that you should stop. Failure is information. It teaches. It redirects. It reveals what needs support. Every person who grows meets failure. The question is not, can I avoid failure forever? The question is, can I learn without turning against myself? That is a different kind of strength, a quieter one, a truer one. And when setbacks happen, because they will, practice self-compassion. Old patterns do not disappear just because we understand them. You may still procrastinate. You may still doubt yourself. You may still hide sometimes. That does not mean you failed. It means you are human. Return. That is the word again. Return. Return to the intention. Return to the breath. Return to the next small step. Return to the part of you that wants to live more freely. Self-sabotage does not have to rule your life. The hidden blocks can be found. The old beliefs can be questioned. The chain can loosen, not through force, not through shame, but through awareness, honesty, support, and steady practice. So today, choose one pattern to notice, just one. Where do you keep getting in your own way? Where do you delay your own becoming? Where do you shrink when life asks you to expand? Write it down, not as a confession, as a beginning. Then take one small step in the other direction. One email, one page, one breath, one honest conversation, one moment of choosing yourself. That is how the chain breaks. Not always with a dramatic snap. Sometimes, link by link, choice by choice, breath by breath. And maybe the first freedom is simply this: seeing the chain and remembering you are not the chain. Take a breath, listen softly, and ask yourself, what is one small way I can stop blocking my own light today?